Today, we're diving into a mysterious little book from the 14th century called The German Theology, and it asks this piercing question about why we do what we do, a question that honestly feels more relevant now in our age of social media than ever before. So let's just start with this really provocative idea from the text. What if our best actions, our most charitable moments, could actually be a form of deep self-deception? What if helping someone else is really just a way for you to make yourself feel good? So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the core metaphor of the two lights. Then we'll explore the subtle deception of the ego. After that, we'll talk about selfless love, check out 4 different types of human behavior, and finally, we'll ask why this ancient text is such a powerful tool for self-reflection right now. Okay, so the whole book really boils down to this fundamental choice that guides pretty much every action we take. The choice between what the author calls the true light and the false light. Let's break that down. On one side, you have the true light. The author says it comes from God, and its goal is total selflessness, which leads to true, genuine love. On the other side, you've got the false light. Now, this one comes from our own ego, and its goal is always self-gratification. The result? A kind of counterfeit goodness, a deception. So let's look a little closer at this false light. What's so interesting is that the text doesn't describe it as some big, obvious evil. No, it's way more clever than that. It's this subtle corruption that can hide inside our very best intentions. The false light is basically our ego dressing up its own selfish desires in the clothes of virtue. And what makes it so tricky and so dangerous is that the text says it's a natural part of us. It feels right, it feels convincing, even when it's leading us astray. So, how do you spot it in yourself? Well, according to the text, the false light is always orbiting the self. It's all about I, my, me. It's looking for personal credit in everything. It's sneaky, it's proud, and it has this subtle way of making you the hero of every single story. And its ultimate delusion? Believing it somehow above all flaws. And this quote just nails it. It perfectly captures that final, arrogant destination of the ego-driven path. See, it's not enough for the ego to just be good. Its secret ambition is to basically take the place of God. You can see right here in this passage from the original text how it describes this whole process. The ego's own light becomes so bright that it completely blinds you to your real motivations. It convinces you that your own self-interest is actually divine will. It's a powerful idea. Okay, so if that's the wrong path, what's the right one? Well, the text offers this really profound and honestly beautiful alternative to a life that's just run by the ego. The book uses this fantastic analogy. It compares 2 people doing the exact same work. For the mercenary, the work feels heavy, like a burden, because he's only in it for the paycheck. But for the lover, that very same work feels easy and light, because the motivation isn't payment, it's pure love for the work itself. And here's the real gut punch. If a good deal feels like a transaction, if you find yourself secretly waiting for that thank you or for some kind of reward, you're probably operating as the mercenary, not the lover. And believe me, this isn't just some minor theme tucked away in the book. No way. Entire chapters are dedicated to this exact distinction, like this one titled, How One Must Take on Christ's Life Out of Love and Not for Reward. So all this builds into a really practical framework. The text gives us a way to kind of diagnose our own motivations by breaking down humanity into 4 distinct types. So the first 3 types are all trapped by the ego, just in different ways. You've got the reluctant person, who only does good things to avoid punishment. Then there's the mercenary we just talked about, who acts to get a reward. And then you have the false penitent, who's this kind of spiritual narcissist, so full of pride they think they're above the rules. But then there's the 4th type, the enlightened person. And this is the only one who's truly free. They act not out of fear or greed or pride, but simply out of love. For them, the good deed is its own reason. It is its own reward. There's no other calculation going on. Okay, so let's bring this all home. How on earth does a 600-year-old mystical text hold a mirror up to our world today? Well, the parallels are pretty startling. I mean, just think about it for a second. Our culture is absolutely saturated with actions that look good on the surface but are really just the false light in modern clothes. Performing charity for Instagram likes, virtue signaling to score social points, corporate giving that's really just a PR campaign, even the constant pressure for self-optimization. These are all just new ways of seeking a reward for your goodness.
When you boil it all down, this whole medieval text is really asking us one single, incredibly powerful question.
And here it is, the central challenge of the entire book, to look past the action itself and to honestly examine the intention behind it. Is your ego at the center of what you're doing, or is it something more selfless, something like love? This quote really captures the ultimate takeaway. A truly authentic life, a right life, isn't found in just stacking up a list of good deeds. It's found in aligning your inner motivations with that selfless, true light. And so we'll leave you with that final, challenging thought from this forgotten masterpiece, a question of motivation that is every bit as urgent in our age of influencers and personal brands as it was in the age of mystics. The next time you do something good, who or what are you really serving?